First and foremost, congratulations, class of 2026. Let's hear it for them, parents. There we go. We are now properly warmed up for a proper ceremony, for sure. Because when they walked in, there was a little staleness in the room, a little kind of, I'm not sure if I should be sad or excited, probably both, right? But what's gonna happen today? Let me take you through what's gonna happen today. We wanna start off with a little reflection, a little seriousness, right? And then work our way towards celebration. Like you just did, celebration. So can you do that with me? Can you be serious in the beginning and then celebratory towards the end and really let them know how you feel as they get their diploma and as they walk out into this new world? I hope we can do that. So that's the movement, that's the note for tonight, is celebration, starting in reflection. A few ground rules, let's talk about a few ground rules. You know, parents, they're gonna leave. They're gonna move into dorm rooms. They're gonna get on airplanes. In fact, I just took my daughter, my sophomore year daughter, to the airport this morning because she's flying off to do summer camp in Northern California. And on the way to the airport, we talked about class schedules for next year because last year she was calling me crying at 10 p.m. without any kind of internet reception. Dad, my schedule is due for next year in 2 minutes. I don't know what to do. I haven't signed up for classes yet. So on the way to the airport this morning, you better believe we talked about, are you good with classes? We talked about, do you have enough money? And we kind of set the ground rules for going away this summer. And so there's ground rules, things like who's paying for what? What about the electric bill? What about food? What kind of grades do I need to get? And then when I sat my oldest daughter down to talk about ground rules before she left for college, I said, hey, Lindsay, how often can we text? She said, Dad, once a month. And I swallowed my breath. And I said, once a month? Okay, we're good. That's once a month. That's great. I acquiesced politely and kind of joyfully, but inside I was dying. Once a month, how are we going to do this? These ground rules. So parents, students, you'll talk about these ground rules over the summer. We dropped her off in college. We unpacked her things, put the things in the dorm, and went to lunch. And as we left that day, her first day of independence, there were a few tears. There were some hugs. We drove away. In 1 minute into the car ride, I get a call from my daughter in tears. Dad, you can text me as much as you want. I had won the day. So there's ground rules to what's going on. Graduates, earlier this week, I sat down at my desk and I signed your diploma. And as I signed your diploma, I prayed for each of you individually. I prayed for your future, your personality, your gifts. I prayed when things might not go well and that you'd have peace and grace through it all. 4 years ago, when you entered Pacifica, our staff, when they sealed your acceptance letter, they sealed it with wax. You remember the wax. We prayed for you that no matter where you went to high school, that you would have a great journey, that you would flourish. When you entered at that dedication service, a bagpiper led you in to that service. Today, a bagpiper will lead you out. These bookended things, these bookended moments, serve as a symbol of God's goodness and faithfulness and a reminder that He is present at the beginning of your journey, present along the way, and present as you step into what comes next. Class of 2026, here we are, graduation. An important moment, a joyful moment, a moment suspended between what has been and what will be. This semester, you have been standing at the edge of two worlds. One foot still planted firmly in Pacifica, chapel, Wolf Shack runs, rehearsals, Wilshire Boulevard classrooms, friendships, and ordinary Tuesdays. And one foot stepping into that adult world, moving out of your house this summer, moving into a dorm, thinking about your roommate, part-time job, class schedule, orientation, one foot in and one foot out. The perfect place to be. You are leaving something beautiful and you are walking towards something beautiful. Today I want to speak about two images, two places. One, the night sky, and the other one, the kitchen table. Those two images seem unrelated, but together they reveal something essential about how to live. Years ago, when I was 17, I went to a camp in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. And one evening, our speaker gave us a simple instruction. He said, 10 minutes. 10 minutes of silence. Go out by yourself and spend 10 minutes in silence. I don't think I'd ever done that in my life. And during those 10 minutes, the noise faded. I began to look up, and if you're in the Colorado Rockies, you see stars. It's almost like you can touch the Milky Way. It was so beautiful. Thousands of stars, brilliant, silent. I remember feeling something I could not fully explain. I felt small in that moment, but not insignificant. Humbled, but strangely hopeful in that moment. I realized for the first time in my life, and I hope we all realize that life is bigger than me. That there's something bigger, something beyond achievement, beyond resume and popularity, beyond my plans, something eternal. The night sky has a way of doing that, causing us to see the largeness, the bigness of life and how we fit into it. It pulls our eyes upward. The night sky pulls our eyes upward. It reminds that our life matters, but we're not the center of everything. There's a God in the universe that loves us, that needs to be the center. Those moments awaken wonder. Scripture says the heavens declare the glory of the Lord. And when I sat there under that night sky, I was seeing the heavens. And it did something to me. Creation points beyond itself. The beauty of the sky does something important. It reminds us to look heavenward, not to escape this world, but to understand it. Because paradoxically, when we become aware of eternity, we often become more present. And that brings me to our school theme for next year. Not that you care about that, but I offer it as a gift for you to take with you to remember your Pacifica experience. And Mr. K so eloquently introduced that theme on Tuesday night at the senior dinner. The theme is be present. Last year's theme was look forward to the future with hope. The year before, look back with thanksgiving. The year before that was look up to the eternal. This year coming theme is be present. Be fully here, be fully known, and be fully alive. In a distracted age, presence has become rare. We're always somewhere else, looking backward, planning forward, recording, scrolling, achieving, comparing. There is another way. Presence. Attention. Stillness. Not passivity. Attentiveness. The Christian understanding of time is beautiful. We look backward with gratitude. We look forward with hope. And because of the cross behind us and the resurrection ahead of us, we are free to live now, in the present, to notice, to listen, to celebrate, to forgive, to create, to love people right in front of us, being present. The eternal does not pull away from the present. It anchors us in the present. And that is where the second image comes in. The first image is the night sky. The second image is the kitchen table. Because while the night sky teaches us to look upward, the table teaches us to look outward. Think about a kitchen table. Meals, stories, homework, arguments, prayer, laughter, late night conversations, parents giving advice, friends showing up unexpectedly, questions being asked, people being known at kitchen tables. The kitchen table may be one of the most formative places in human life. Around tables, people reconcile. Around tables, people celebrate. Around tables, people grieve. Around tables, people become family, and in many ways, the Christian story unfolds around a table. Meals with disciples, the breaking of bread at the Last Supper, hospitality, people gathering, tables. Tables remind us that you are not made to live alone. Pacifica has tried to give you both, the night sky and the eternal, something more than yourself, and the kitchen table where life is lived. You need both, wonder and belonging, transcendence and community. Without the sky, life becomes small. Without the table, life becomes lonely. We need the table and the sky. So class of 2026, do not settle for a small life. You were made for more, not merely to consume experiences, not merely to build a resume, not merely to curate an image. You were made for significance, for worship, for relationships, for courage, for responsibility, for joy. And most of those things are built quietly, not through viral moments, but ordinary faithfulness. One conversation, one friendship, one prayer, one difficult decision, one act of courage, one apology, one dinner, one day over time. The older I get, the more convinced I become that some of the greatest moments in life happen sitting across from another person. My closest friends and I from college have sat around a table every single Sunday for 35 years. And that presence has definitely impacted my life and the life of my family. So I encourage you to live the kind of life, the table life. So graduates, fight against isolation, fight against distraction, fight against cynicism. Stay soft-hearted, stay grateful, stay connected. Look up often, sit at tables often. Practice presence. And remember, one of the greatest gifts you can give another human being is your full attention, being present. Fully here, fully known, fully alive. So in a few minutes, you're going to get your diplomas. And you're going to stand up here and we're going to cheer for you. And you're going to take a photo. And then you're going to march out and we're going to cheer as loud as we can as you march out. And then you're going to go in that courtyard over there. And for the last time as a group, you're going to take pictures. You're going to welcome grandparents and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and friends. And you're going to say goodbye. And as is my tradition at graduation, I will stand off in the corner and watch this goodness happen for the last time at Pacifica. And then you'll trickle out slowly but surely off to dinners and celebrations. And I will be the last one to leave and follow out the last family, knowing that this was a great day, knowing this was a wonderful day. So savor this moment. Be present in this moment. Class of 2026, we love you. We're proud of you. Congratulations.